All right, hold on, hold on. There we go. All right, what's up, YouTube? Back with another stream. I just reacted to Chelsea and the Chelsea Arsenal game and Newcastle and Man City highlights before going live. But now I'm gonna react to some a few MPG videos, the Weasel, and a couple of streamer videos about a video about another YouTuber. That's the plan. All right, Ohio State just stole 2 Alabama players again.
Yo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all be having a great day. Hope all be having a great week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man, the farm system in Tuscaloosa, Alabama strikes again. You can't make this up. Little bro, my apologies. Big bro stage, the Ohio State, whatever you want to call them, they just took 2 more Alabama football players. What are we doing? What are we doing? Some of you have heard of the minor leagues. Some of you may have heard of the USFL, the XFL, the CFL, the Canadian Football League. You may have heard of the D-League back in the day, now known as the G-League. But have you heard of the Tuscaloosa, Alabama farm system? It's a real thing. You know what Alabama does? They develop these players, get them to where they can compete and be significant players for Alabama, and they go, all right, yeah, we're done. I'm going to head out now. And they go to Ohio State. The 2 recent examples, well, this one's kind of a bad one, Julian Sayin, because he was only at Alabama for 2 months, but this is a good one, Caleb Downs. And even though Julian Sayin was only at Bama for a month, 2 months max, he was still there. He enrolled. He goes to Ohio State. He is your starting quarterback, Caleb Downs. I don't even got to talk about him. No introduction needed. He is the Caleb Downs. Outstanding player in his own right. We could hoot and holler about him for the next 3 to 4 minutes of this video. I'm not going to do that. Well, now it's starting to feel...
Yeah, future first round, 100%. Future first round pick. Well, this year's first round pick. Probably top 10. He'll probably get drafted in the top 10, maybe. I don't know what teams need a safety right now. I got to look at the draft rankings or whatever you call them to see what team actually needs a safety.
Like deja vu. Ohio State just got not 1, but 2 more Alabama football players in what they're labeling as a quote-unquote package deal. And I'll let you know right now early on, Timothy and Bobby, this will be a spoiler for the video, but I don't really care. These are going to be starters next year. These are going to be big-time players. We're going to talk all about that. We also have, I'm not even going to label it as a minor topic because this is a big topic for Alabama fans and the Alabama football team. It's great news. Bray Hubbard. We got some news surrounding him. First things first, let me show you the breaking news. We're jumping straight into this. I don't got time to waste. You don't got time to waste either. I'm super busy, and I know y'all are busy. Where's it at? I had it right here. Oh, yeah, it is from Alabama. Breaking. DB, defensive back, Bray Hubbard will return to play at Alabama for the 2026 season. Hold on, get some of my morning coffee down. I thought this was a joke. I thought it was.
Yeah, that's big for Alabama because Bray Hubbard, he's had a good season, very good season. So that's huge for Alabama.
The troll. All right, chill out. Let's lock in. We're a professional YouTube channel, professional college football analyst. Matt, dude, you gotta stop being weird, all right? Act like you've been here before. My apologies. Let's lock in. Let's get down to business. Bray Hubbard, he's returning to play at Alabama. I'm shocked at this. I thought he was as good as gone. I thought for sure he was going to be a late first round, second round pick, and for sure just going to leave, but no. He's coming back, and I can tell you, as an Alabama fan, I'm excited. I really am. This guy is so good. He was so great for us this year. The only bad thing you can say about him was the Florida State game. Yes, he was caught jogging, but after that, he was nothing but great for Alabama Crimson Tide. Everyone hating on or critiquing him, which I did after the Florida State game, rightfully so. You can't be jogging on the field, brother, and he knows that, but it was fuel added to his fire. One of the hardest hitting defensive backs we had this year for so many fumbles, had some key interceptions. I'm just so thankful and happy and grateful that he's coming back because it seems like everybody's leaving Alabama. And, hey, that's the focal point of this video. We're about to talk about 2 players leaving on defense to go to Ohio State. But Bray Hubbard, He is an Alabama football player. This isn't like, oh, well, he just wants NIL, because everybody knows this. You want to make a bunch of money, you don't go to Alabama. No. They're not going to give you a bunch of money in NIL. And it's not like, oh, he's just staying at Bama for this reason, that reason. No, he is staying at Bama for the same reason. Milroe came back. Ty Simpson came back because he loves the university. And I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate that. Seriously. These are guys that I love. And I remember for years and years and years down the road, guys that could have went to the NFL, made millions of dollars, if not tens of millions of dollars, but they decided to come back and run it back for 1 year with the ultimate goal of winning a national championship, because that is the goal. That is the standard. I'm not saying it's going to happen next year, and we got a long way to go, but that's what we're hoping for. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you how monumental this is for Alabama defense. I mean, he's arguably our best player. I'm trying to think. Is there a better player on defense? Actually, is there a better player on the team returning next year? No, I don't think so. He is our best player. Shout out to Bray Hubbard. I really appreciate you, brother. And not only do I appreciate you coming back, but I appreciate all the hard work you put in this year. Our defense was a saving grace all throughout the year. And the main reason for that is because of this guy you're looking at right here. I could go on and on about that, but we got to get a move on to the main topic of the Main Encore. Main reason you probably clicked onto this video. What in the world's going on with the Buckeyes? Well, I'll tell you what's going on, Timothy and Bobby. They're stealing our players. They're stealing our players. Again, deja vu. Not one, but two. So you know how we talked about James Smith, defensive lineman from Alabama, and Q Rasal, two guys that were pretty good for Bama this year, I'd say. That's more than safe to say. And now they're entering the portal. Well, guess where we're going? Ohio State. When I first saw this graphic, because I had a bunch of people sending it to me, shout out to Hayes Fawcett, I was like,
both players going to both of them going at Ohio State. That is crazy.
oh, okay, Ohio State's getting an Alabama player. Because I just saw Q Rasal on the graphic, and I thought it was him in the Ohio State jersey on the right, but no. Come to find out, they're getting Q Rasal on the left and James Smith on the right. The 2-for-1 special. Probably like you, I was kind of confused about this. I was like, what a coincidence. But come to find out, these two were always a package deal. If it sounds like I'm confused, it's because I am. I didn't know that. Maybe I'm just out of the loop on things, but coming out of high school, allegedly and apparently, they were also a package deal, and there's still a package deal. What are we doing? What's going on here? Oh, no, man. I ain't really saying nothing, but it seems a little franky-dinky to me. I'm just playing. Calm down. But on a serious note, it is kind of weird, because you'll see a lot of times these 4- and 5-star recruits that played the same high school, they're like, oh, well, we're going to go to the same college, and they're a package deal. But after a couple years when they transfer, all that's over with. You outgrow it. But no, they've stuck to their Boy Scout command, or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what you call it. Again, I'm trying to say their commitment of, if I go here, you got to come with me, brother. And they're still doing it. If it sounds like I'm trying to joke on these guys, I'm not. It's just one of those things that's really weird. I've never seen that before, where you got two guys promised to go to the same college together, and then it's a couple years later and they're promising to transfer to the same college together. And it's not like they're brothers or anything like that, but let's talk about them on the football field. Well, Q Rasal, he wound up losing a starting job this year. I'm sure he'll win the starting job at Ohio State. And James Smith, yes, he has a ton of potential, but it's only potential at this point in time, and he doesn't really have that great of a motor. He's not a guy that can play every single down. Don't get me wrong, they're going to be all right in Columbus, Ohio, but do I view Q Rasal and James Smith as game changers? As like a Nick, Joey Bosa, what was that one? What was his name? The good edge rusher.
Chase Young.
What was his name? Oh, yeah, Chase Young. Do I view him as guys like that? Heck to the no. They good. They most certainly are good. I'm not taking that away from them, but they're not anything special. It's not anything for Alabama fans. I'll put it to you like this. Let me put it into a better perspective. If I were a Bama fan, would I be losing my mind, freaking out, sharing this with my friends, going, look, we just lost two of our best players, or two really good players on defense to Ohio State? No, it's not anything like that. And they're not two of our best players, and they wouldn't be next year even if they stayed at Bama. It's not like you lost Caleb Downs again. Do y'all remember how important I thought that was? I made a separate reaction video in the man cave reacting to Caleb Downs leaving Alabama. That's how important I thought that was. And you're not getting that reaction out of this. It'd even be different if you lost a Bray Hubbard to Ohio State. I'd really be like, oh, are you serious? I'd be down in the dumps about that. But with all due respect to losing James Smith and Q Rasal to Ohio State, it's like, I mean, whatever, man. What are we talking about? And you're going to have so many nerds, dorks, and dweebs that back in the White Randy Glory days, I would have gave wedgies to. I'd have gave them atomic wedgies. I would have hung them on the bathroom stall in the middle school boys' bathroom and spun them around in the comment section saying, oh, well, Matt's just coping. This is pure cope. He's just coping. Shut up, nerd. Shut up. People love to say whenever I talk about Bama and a player leaving, oh, well, Matt's just coping. I'm not coping. I would tell you guys if I was upset about it or if I was down in dumps about it. I'm not. You can take this for what you want. And James Smith and Q Rasaw can take this how they want. They aight. They aight. But they're not anything worth getting upset over. We can find a guy just as good as both of them in the train.
Imagine. Imagine. All right, so Matt's saying they are right, but imagine that both of them, or one of them, win defensive player rewards and becomes one of Ohio State's or two of Ohio State's best players.
Transfer portal from some no-name school. And don't even get me started on this. Our D-line was the worst part of the defense last year. We couldn't get pressure on a quarterback. The only guy who got pressure on quarterbacks routinely was Pierre. We got Yonze Pierre. As long as he don't leave, we're big chilling. Now, let me address it from an Ohio State's perspective. If you're a Buckeye fan and you're going, okay, Matt, so I will say you probably know more about these guys than me because you watch them in Alabama. You don't think they're that good. And yes and no. Let me explain. Here would be my question I'm asking you. What is your definition of good? These are guys that are going to get a couple of sacks next year. They'll have some tackles for loss, but it's not going to be anything you remember and you talk about for 5-10 years down the road. It's not anything like that. They're good football players all in all, but they're not guys that are game changers. They're not guys that are going to wreak havoc on the field. Just not going to happen. Throwing that out there right now. One of the things I could say one off here. Let me know your thoughts down below.
All right. So, apparently, a 5-star left Colorado, and apparently there's some drama. See what's going on.
I knew they were going to fall apart. We all saw this coming. When Shedeur Sanders departed, when Travis Hunter left, we knew it was the beginning of the end. Losing a 5-star recruit, losing Jordan Seaton, it just goes to prove that Colorado is officially falling apart. They're dunzos. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope I'll be having a great week. Hope I'll be having a great Tuesday night. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man, we got to talk about a team we haven't talked about in what feels like ages. The Colorado Coach Prime-led Buffaloes. But more importantly, we got to talk about a specific player when it comes to Colorado. We've got a lot to talk about in tonight's video, to say the least, and it's been a hot minute since we talked about Coach Prime and this Colorado football team. I'm trying to think back. I can't remember the last time we spoke about these guys. But they have found their way into the news, and it is not good news, to say the least. We also have one other minor topic to speak on in tonight's video, and that is no other than TJ Finley. He's on the move. If you don't know who Finley is, you should. That name should ring a bell. And hold on, I just saw this on one of the recent videos. Shout out to Jared throwing 20, calling it favorite. And this is the perfect time against elections and more in all 50 states in 140 plus countries. Fan this not just for college football. This guy has any to record this video. TJ Finley.
Oh, TJ Finley. Man, this dude's been abusing the transfer portal. Just abusing it.
How this guy has any eligibility left?
Yeah, I don't understand. How does he have any eligibility left? It's crazy. How does he have any eligibility left?
Don't ask me. You're asking the wrong person. I don't get it either. So TJ Finley this is not a joke. I'm not lying. Buckle up for this one. A former LSU, former Auburn, former Texas State, former Tulane, former Western Kentucky, and former Georgia State quarterback. And now he's officially committed and signed with the Incarnate Word. Are you kidding me? Look at this. This is ridiculous. What are we doing? How is this even a real graphic? I'm not even going to scream. Well, I'm screaming right now, but I'm not going to go on a major rant and tangent. It's just like, come on, man. What are we doing? TJ Finley will be playing college football next year at his 7th. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly, Timothy and Bobby. His 7th different school. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. But at this point in time, I can't help but laugh at it. And I got to respect it. I remember saying this last year about Finley when he announced he was going to Georgia State. I'll clap it up to him. Kudos to him, and I respect it because you know what he's doing? I should be jealous of it, and so should you. He is traveling the world. He is traveling the country on the NCAA's dime. I got to divert back to this. No, I don't know how this is possible, but all power to him. anything but getting a job, I guess. I could go on and on, but y'all know how I feel about it. On a serious note, I do not want to see 24 and 25-year-olds playing college football. So no, I don't like this, and I'm not a fan of it. But like we say on the channel, it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts on that. Moving along here to the main topic of the main encore, main reason you clicked onto this video. What in the world's going on with the Buffaloes? Well, I'll tell you what's going on, partner. Jordan Seaton. That's what's happening. Let me explain. This is Mr. Jordan Seaton, prestigious 5-star recruit, 5-star offensive lineman coming out of high school, and he decided to commit and sign with Colorado. Clap it up. It was a huge pickup for not just Colorado, but for Coach Prime. This was big. He was supposed to be the chosen one. He was supposed to be the next great offensive line for him, and he was. But out of nowhere, late last night, news comes out that he's entering the NCAA transfer portal. Now, your casual fan sitting there going, what's the big deal, Matt? Colorado sucks. So, of course, a former 5-star offensive lineman would enter the portal. But that's not the problem with this. I know what you're sitting there saying, Bobby. What's the problem, Matty boy? Great question. I love to answer it. It's this right here. Do you see this? This isn't a recent tweet. This was roughly, we'll say 8 to 9 months ago. It was in, what was that, January, February, March. This was in April of 2025. Jordan Seaton writes, "Sports crazy now. Can't even build a true brotherhood anymore. Too much I and me." Huh. Interesting. I wonder what he's referring to. Maybe possibly, I don't know, the transfer portal, NIL, stuff like that. But here's where things get really interesting. On Instagram, when Jordan Seaton, he entered the portal, he used a video made by Colorado's graphics department. In other terms, let me dumb this down. He had an announcement video for entering the portal. Why is this a big deal? Why am I bringing that up? I like you, Bobby. That's another great question. This is a big deal because the graphics department for Colorado was not making this video so he could announce he's leaving Colorado. They were making this video because they was told, oh, he's going to post this and he's just going to use it for Colorado's benefit. They didn't know he was entering the portal. Let me clarify on that. That video was created, and I'll just show you this tweet because I love the wording here. It was created under the assumption that he was going to announce he was staying with the program. Shout out to Ross Brenner on Twitter who wrote this tweet. Really explains it great in just some short wording. I think we can all agree. Not only is that grimy, but it's totally messed up. From all the reports I've heard and what I've seen up until this point, that's what went down there. And if you don't want to believe that, you got to look at it from this perspective. Why would Colorado want to make a video for him when he's announcing he's leaving the program? That doesn't make any sense. I digress. But there's more stuff we got to talk about. Remember, I'm going to go back to this tweet he tweeted out roughly 8 to 9 months ago. Sports crazy now. Can't even build a true brotherhood anymore. Too much I and me. I'm not even going to say too much about it outside of that's obviously ironic at this point in time with everything that has occurred. Do as you please with that information I presented to you. But hold on, there's more. Apparently, allegedly, Jordan Seaton's camp is starting the bidding at $2.5 million doubloons.
$2.5 million for offensive lineman.
$2.5 million doubloons. Are you kidding me? Here's the crazy part about it. It's not like I don't think he's worth it. I think he is. A good offensive lineman is worth that and some. They're worth every single penny. That's who protects your star quarterback. We know that he's leaving Colorado.
Yeah, that is true. That's true. Fair. That's fair.
$1 million question. Where's he going to go? According to some of the new reports that have came out, Texas and Oregon are the two teams you need to watch for. That makes total sense if you got to ask me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Texas and Oregon in for him because they have a lot of money. So they'll give him that money for sure.
As Seaton, he's going to be demanding a bunch of money, rightfully so, and these two schools, they can pay him a bunch of money, and they're also competitors when it comes to the playoff picture. And let me clarify on this. Am I blaming Seaton for demanding or trying to get the most amount of money possible? Heck to the no. I'd be doing the same thing. And I advocate for these athletes getting paid the most amount of money. These schools will pay you. Because guess what? It's a business. He's providing a service. You might as well get paid the most amount of money for your service you provide. Am I wrong? But we got to go back to this for a third time. It is kind of ironic that he tweeted this out only 8 to 9 months ago. But I'm not going to hold it against them. You know why I'm not going to hold it against them? Because people grow, they mature, and they change their minds all the time. Heck, Nick Saban changed his mind. He said he wasn't going to be the head coach at Alabama, and we know what happened there. So let me just get that out there right now. I'm not blaming him for leaving Colorado, and I'm not blaming him for going to a school that's going to give him $2, $3, potentially $4 to $5 million. But here's what I don't know. I wonder if he decided to leave Colorado for more money or if he actually wants to compete for a championship. I got a feeling it's a combination of both, but from what I've heard about Jordan Seaton, this guy's a competitor. He wants to win. And the bottom line is at Colorado, I'm not going to say you're not going to win games because you'll win some next year, but you're not competing for a championship. At Oregon and Texas, you can do that. I definitely think some stuff's going on there in Texas. They've been knocking out of the park in recruiting during this offseason, especially in the transfer portal. Just got Cam Coleman. You know they're paying him the big buckaroos. Also got Hollywood Smothers from Alabama. They're giving him the big bucks, and they figure, hey, why not? Let's get the trifecta. Let's get an offensive lineman. Let's get a tackle. Let's go after.
Yeah, I think Texas will get him, and I hope they get him over Oregon. I hope they do.
Seaton. Could you imagine if Arch Manning gets this guy? Whew, he may not get touched next year. And we haven't talked about Jordan Seaton too much. If you don't know anything about him, this guy's a beast. Don't look at him and go, well, oh, he played for Colorado. They weren't good. This guy is a beast. Do not get it twisted. I'm not saying you got to respect his decision, and sure, it maybe was kind of shady the way he departed from Colorado, but that doesn't take away anything he does on the football field. This guy's a stud, and all of this leads me into my next topic perfectly. I knew they were going to fall apart. We all saw this coming. When Shedeur Sanders departed, when Travis Hunter left, we knew it was the beginning of the end. It's just now becoming quite clear and evident that Colorado, in the grand scheme of college football, they're not going to do anything. Losing a 5-star recruit, losing Jordan Seaton, it just goes to prove that Colorado is officially falling apart. They're dunzos. It's over with. Coach Prime, love him to death. He had a nice little run with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, but it's over. That was a fairy tale fluky run, and Colorado is about to return back to being one of the worst college football programs in the entire nation, not just the Big 12. As far as it goes for Jordan Seaton, not too sure who's going to wind up getting him, but it's going to be a powerhouse. I can guarantee you that much. Somebody's going to be paying
It has to be Texas, man. Come on. It has to be them.
big buckaroonies for him, and who has the big bucks? Your powerhouses. It's relatively simple. Hate to see it for Colorado, but I'll do my best to keep you updated on all this. Let me know your thoughts down below. But
All right. Hopefully he goes to Texas.
you're getting
All right, so Dante Moore, he made his decision. Let's check it out.
my immediate and raw reaction to this. I am still perplexed and shocked by this announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you had a great Wednesday. Hope all of you having a great week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man, I was working on a completely different video for you guys, but this breaking news just came out, and we got to cover it. I bumped it up to priority number 1, and that is no other than the news about Dante Moore. We're going to talk all about that. We're also going to have multiple videos today. I promise as soon as we get done with this one, I'm going back to work on the original first one that was supposed to be uploaded earlier. But we got to cover this. I want to get this out ASAP because this is the more important breaking news. We also got an update on Michigan star running back, former Alabama star running back, 5-star recruit Justice Haynes, and where he's heading. And last but not least, our third topic, Lane Kiffin. Yes, the guy who's already gotten 2 quarterbacks in the transfer portal just got a 3rd quarterback. Kiffin, what are we doing? 3 quarterbacks in the portal? I've seen a lot of wild stuff with the transfer portal, but I think this is a first. I can't remember if
Yeah, I
I've
heard
ever
about that. They recruited Hussein Longstreet. Not Longstreet. Longstreet. Street. Yeah, he recruited him from USC. That he was a former 5-star recruit. And back in 2025, yeah, or back last year, either last year or 2024.
seen a school, a coach, go after 3 quarterbacks in one offseason. Really interesting stuff there. I don't have time to waste. You don't have time to waste either. Extremely busy. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Hey guys, Editing Matt in the building. I wound up talking about this LSU situation longer than I wanted to, and the video was already really long itself. I know a bunch of you are just here for the Oregon news. So due to all of that, I'm taking the LSU segment out of this video and uploading it in a video later tonight. Be on the lookout for that. So we're heading straight into topic 2. Moving along here, though, to our second topic, Justice Haynes. We got an update on him. Y'all know Justice Haynes. I don't have to give you the whole spielio dealio. Former 5-star recruit. He was a great running back at Alabama. But his dilemma with Bama is the same dilemma I had with Bama while he was there. They refused to give him the ball. He was averaging 7 yards per carry, but he only averaged about 5 carries or 6 carries a game. I would have left too. So he's looking at it going, I really don't want to leave Alabama, but if they're not going to give me reps, I might as well go elsewhere. So he decided to go to Michigan, a run-first team, and it worked out. He was a great running back for Michigan this year, one of the best running backs in the nation, but for some odd reason, he's like, I'm not too pleased with the way things are going. I'm going to enter the portal again. That one's still a little head-scratching to me, and we talked about this a couple days ago. It was looking like, from all the reports that I read off to you guys, that he was going to Georgia Tech. Well, he has now made it official. He is going to the Yellow Jackets, and I don't get it. I know Georgia Tech likes to run the ball. I'm not saying it won't work out, but
why would he leave Michigan? I still don't understand why he left Michigan.
I view this as a lateral move, and to me, there's no point of it. At Michigan next year, he'd be a 1,000-yard rusher. At Georgia Tech next year, I think he'll be a 1,000-yard rusher. So why leave? You really can't even say, oh, well, what about NIL, Matt? No, that can't be the reason, because Michigan has more NIL money than Georgia Tech, and they don't want to see their starting running back leave. The only argument you have outside of that is, well, maybe he wants to compete for a playoff spot, but we can debunk that one because, with all due respect, we're talking about Georgia Tech.
Yeah, if he wanted a playoff spot, why would he go to Texas Tech? I mean, not Texas Tech, Georgia Tech, and leave Michigan? Yeah, so that doesn't make any sense.
Definitely a head scratcher. If you know anything about it, please enlighten us in the comment section. But I'm wishing him the best of luck, and I think it'll work out. I thought he had it good at Michigan. I did. And at this point in time, I don't know what more he's looking for. But hopefully he got it. Wishing him the best of luck. But moving along here to the main topic of the main encore. Main reason you probably clicked onto this video. What's going on with Ravioli and Dante Moore? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. Dante Moore just got up on SportsCenter, and he made his announcement. He made his decision, and I got to be honest with y'all, it's kind of shocking to me. No way to beat around the bush. Read it and weep, chumps. Read it and weep. Dante Moore, he's coming back to Oregon. You're getting my...
that shocked me too. I couldn't believe that he decided to stay. Like, if he entered the NFL draft, he would have been a first-round pick, 100%. Or I guess he decided to come back because he may not want to play for the Jets. I don't know. But, yeah, this definitely shocked me.
Immediate and raw reaction to this, I am still perplexed and shocked by this announcement. It is a little bit head-scratching, to say the least. And I look at the pros and I look at the cons with every situation. You can't be naive and look at this from an Oregon legacy perspective and say, oh, well, Matt Hick come back to Oregon is going to cement his legacy as a Ducky, and he's going to be a Oregon legend. No. That's being naive. You got to take the Oregon glasses off. And when I say take the glasses off, don't just take the Oregon glasses off, take the football glasses off. You got to look at this from a business perspective. From all the mock drafts I saw, he was QB2. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just telling you what they've said up until this point. He's QB2, and a lot of mock drafts had him going second overall and in the top 5 if he doesn't go number 2. Let me ask you a question, Bobby. Do you know how much the second overall pick is going to make if they get drafted this year with that slot? Roughly, I believe it's $45 million. Yeah.
Oof.
$45 million.
$45 million.
$45 million. Let me say it one more time. I don't care what type of NIL duffel Oregon threw at him. It ain't $45 million. I can guarantee you that. It ain't even close to it. It ain't even sniffing it. It's not in the same ballpark. Now, we don't know for certain if he would have went number 2 overall or top 5. But that's what everyone was saying. And everyone else out there was saying he's ahead of Ty Simpson on these draft boards. That's another thing. Your biggest winner of today in the sports world, Ty Simpson. He's grinning from ear to ear because he's definitely going to the first round now. I mean,
yeah, he's QB2 now. Definitely. Definitely a first-round pick. Well, maybe not definitely, but he's a first-round pick.
At this point in time, Simpson's QB2. There's a legit case and scenario now that I'm thinking about it because all this is going on, that Ty Simpson goes second overall. Your casual football fan's not going to like that, and they're going to go, well, oh, Oregon had way more team success than Alabama this year. Let me enlighten you on something, pal. NFL teams don't give 2 craps about your team success. They don't give 2 flying you-know-what. They could care less. They're evaluating you as a quarterback, not for your team. They're looking at your film and your tape. Nothing more, nothing less. And they actually think it's more impressive if you can piece together a decent season as a quarterback playing on a not-so-good team with a not-so-good offensive line like Ty Simpson did. And you can turn on the tape. I've watched it. Ty Simpson has better tape than Dante Moore. He does. And here's what I'm talking about. All of Ty Simpson's throws, or most of them, he had blitzers in his face. He's on the run, never had a clean pocket. It was a complete opposite for Dante Moore outside the Indiana game. But Indiana's a different beast, and that's only one game. I'm talking about for the vast majority of the season. Dante Moore, yeah, he made great throws, and he is a really good quarterback. He's a first rounder, but all of his throws are with great offensive line and nobody in his face. And you know what these NFL teams, scouts, and GMs look at? They go, we don't want to see what you can do when everything goes right. We want to see what you can do when everything goes wrong. And Ty Simpson has way more good film, I guess you'd say, when things go wrong than Dante Moore. Teams aren't impressed with you making a perfect pass, even if it is a 70-yarder in the air with great offensive line and protection, because that's not reality in the NFL. You know what's reality in the NFL? What happened to Ty Simpson this year? You're getting mauled on dang near every other play. It sort of goes hand in hand with the Josh Allen thing. NFL teams weren't really scared away from his reckless play with the football and all the turnovers he had at the collegiate level. I think he averaged 15 or 20 interceptions every single year at Wyoming. They didn't care about that because NFL teams know you got to squeeze the ball into tight windows. And these NFL teams like a quarterback who can make split-second decisions and just let the ball fly. And I already know you're going to have some nerd in the comment section say, well, actually, Matt, Josh Allen only had 6 interceptions that last year at Wyoming. I know. I'm just talking about that one year in 2016. He had something like 30 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. It was bad. And we see how he's turned out. But getting back on track here, I'm not trying to make this some NFL video. We got all season to do that where we evaluate these quarterbacks, talk about their film. Dante Moore, he's returned back to Oregon. Great news for Ty Simpson. But here's where things get really interesting. So on one side of it, great news for Simpson. Here's the other side of it. Bad news for Dylan Ravioli.
Yeah, and I immediately thought about Dylan Raiola after seeing Dante Moore, that Dante Moore post about him staying. Like, I was thinking, what's Raiola gonna do? Like, did he already sign to Oregon? Like, that's what I was trying to remember. Did he already sign to join Oregon or what?
You know why it's bad news, partner? Because only a couple of days ago, Ravioli announced, hey, I'm committing and signing with Oregon. You see why this is ironic, right? Because Dante Moore's coming back to Oregon. So Ravioli's going to be a bench warmer. I'm telling you right now, I do not see Ravioli staying with Oregon. There's just no way. Let me explain. Hear me out, because I've seen some Oregon fans stating, well, Matt, even if Dante Moore comes back, Ravioli, he's going to learn under him. He's going to sit the bench, and then he'll be ready to play next year. I wouldn't bet on that if I were you. I wouldn't bet on that.
Yeah,
and here's
why. God, dude, there's no way Dylan Raiola's going to sit on the bench for a year and just sit and learn. I don't see it, man. I don't see it, dude.
I'm going to give you a legit explanation and reasoning for this. We're going off of pattern recognition. And I love pattern recognition because it's backed up with cold, hard facts. Ravioli played at 3 to 4, 5 different high schools. I lost count. He committed to Georgia, decommitted from Georgia, then he went to Nebraska. Why is all this important? Number one, he can't stay put. He's not patient. Number two, and this is the big one, he wants to play right away. Do you understand that Ravioli and his family, they knew the best fit and situation for him was Georgia? The only reason he decommitted from Georgia and decided to go to Nebraska is because he knew he couldn't play right away as a true freshman at Georgia. And his ego is so big, he thought he could carry a sorry and sucky Nebraska team to winning 10 or 11 games per year and competing for championships. But in reality, me and you both know that's just not possible. But instead of playing the long-term game, and I'm referring to waiting in and out at Georgia, learning under the veterans, the older quarterbacks, being involved with a great team, a great system, a great head coach, a great culture, he wanted immediate pleasure. And that pleasure being, he wanted to play as a true freshman. He did not want to sit the bench because his entire life, all he's been told is how great he is, and he's the man. Maybe his attitude has changed. Maybe it has. But I'm telling you right now, he didn't go to Nebraska because he loved Nebraska. He went to Nebraska because he knew he could start from the jump. That's all it was. If he knew he'd have to be competing for a starting spot in Nebraska, he probably wouldn't even have went there. And notice I haven't faulted him for this or anything. I'm just telling you what has happened and led us up until this point. I get it. He wants to play. No athlete, or a serious athlete at that, is going to look you in the eyes and tell you, yeah, I'm cool at sitting the bench. I don't really care. No, we want to play. That is the point of playing sports. Don't let anybody lie to you. Nobody wants to sit the bench. He didn't just commit to Oregon with his intentions on, oh, yeah, I can't wait to join the Oregon Duckies and sit the bench. No, he wants to be the quarterback for the Duckies. But what has happened? Well, he, I guess, was assuming that Moore was going to an NFL draft like many people out there, because why wouldn't he? He's supposed to be the second overall pick, a for sure first rounder. Well, now Moore's coming back, and yeah, Ravioli's screwed pretty much because there is no quarterback competition. Ravioli's good, but you're not winning the job over Dante Moore. There's not even a competition. And what did I just get done telling you? Ravioli left Georgia because he wanted to play. So you don't got to be a rocket scientist to put two and two together here. You can say what you want if you're an Oregon fan. Well, Matt, he's committed to Oregon. He's talked to Dan Lanning. He wants to get developed as a quarterback. That's nice, but I do not see a case and scenario where a guy who has already played 2 years of college football, he's been a starter for 2 years, is just going to...
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense for him to just sit on the bench for a year after already playing 2 years of college football as a starting quarterback for Nebraska, and then transfer to Oregon just to sit on the bench in his junior year. That, I don't know. That's just, I don't see that happening.
Sit the bench his third year and then come back and play his fourth year? I could be wrong. Now let me talk about it from this standpoint. What do I think is best for Ravioli? Stay at Oregon. Just stay put. Don't go anywhere else. I think it'd be great for him. And I know he doesn't want to because I think he is older than Dante Moore, but I do think it'd be great for him to learn under Dante Moore. Sit a year, be involved with a great overall football program, and just learn. It's not going to hurt you. But he's not going to do that. You know why he's not? Because he wants immediate gratification. I know we're just harping on Ravioli to get back on Dante Moore. What does this mean for Oregon? There's not too much to say about it, guys. Dante Moore's a great player, and this is outstanding news. He's going to be one of the front runners to win the Heisman Trophy, and Oregon is easily going to be one of the best teams in the country next year, just like they were this year. I'm not going to sit up here and hype up Dante Moore returning. You know who Dante Moore is. You're pretty much getting an NFL quarterback next year playing at the collegiate level, and he was an NFL quarterback this year. I know we're all over the place in this video. Let me get back to what I was trying to talk about dang near 5 to 10 minutes ago. The pros and cons of this. I don't agree with Dante Moore coming back, and here's why. You're already viewed as a lock to be a first rounder. Even if you fall to mid, late first round, you're talking about $10, $15, $20 million. You come back to Oregon, let's say Oregon's giving them, we'll say a cool $5 million. I think we can all agree on that. I just don't think that's worth it because that's short-term money. You go to NFL, you're guaranteed long-term money. There's no real benefits to coming back to Oregon because he can't improve his draft stock. If you're already viewed as QB2 and the second overall pick, the only way from that is down. Or the only way from there, my apologies, is down. Here's where I'm going at with this. You can't improve your draft stock any, but you can hurt it significantly. You go out there next year, have a, not even just a mediocre, but if you just have a quote-unquote good year, he'll fall in the draft because he's expected to be elite next year. I hope it works out for Dante Moore, but just like with anything in this life, time will tell. We'll see. Let me know your thoughts down below. But
yes, him staying, that's a massive risk, dude. Massive risk. Because what if he regresses next season? Or, God forbid, what if he gets injured? That is a massive risk, but we'll see what happens.
Justin Gaethje versus Paddy.
All right, we moving on to UFC. Don't underestimate Justin Gaethje against Paddy Pimblett. Gaethje versus Pimblett preview. Breakdown. Let's go.
Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett is a very interesting fight, but a lot of people are going into this thinking that Paddy's just essentially going to run right through Justin Gaethje due to the grappling difference between them, which is true. Paddy does have a distinct grappling advantage. You know, Justin Gaethje doesn't really grapple that well. He's continuing his training with Jorge Santiago, and he has Fares Ziam in his training camp as one of his sparring partners to mimic Paddy, it seems. Ziam is tall and long, and he has pretty good grappling. Shy of Patty's overall, I think, but it's a good body to train with. He knows this is his last run to a title shot. If he loses this one, it's pretty much done for him. Paddy Pimblett is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ace, very lethal on the ground, difficult to handle in positions, and his submissions are quite difficult to escape. But even though Justin Gaethje is showed to have abysmal Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills, Paddy Pimblett's wrestling, though, is honestly just like rudimentary. His initial shots aren't that fast, and they're timed quite poorly. Like, he will shoot when Tony Ferguson hits him to the body with a jab, and that jab obstructs the takedown, creates separation in between them. He could use it as a crossface as well to hold it off too. Like, he defends the takedown altogether, then Paddy pulls guard when Tony tries to go for a Darce choke. And Gaethje's not going to go for a Darce choke. He should retire if he does. Or he shoots when Michael Chandler ducks with a high guard, colliding straight into the guard. And he sees it before. His eyes are on Chandler, seeing that level change from him, and he still proceeds to shoot into it. And who else do we know ducks like this? Justin Gaethje. Many times, he will duck his head when the opponent advances forward, but he does duck at an angle, right? He blades his stance more. There could be an opening for Paddy to get around the back like this, but Gaethje can work with that left underhook to prevent that, so he does have a defensive maneuver there for him if Paddy tries to shoot and rotate around the back. But Paddy Pimblett's timing of his initial shot is not great at all. Chain wrestling is so much better, because even in the sequence with Chandler where he collided into the guard, he still secured the takedown. So at first he was going for the double, but because he got halted for a split second, he settled for the single leg, grabbing onto that lead leg that's closer to him. And from there, he rotates and lifts the leg up, causing an imbalance. Chandler has to crawl up to the fence, and Paddy's all over him, grabs the body lock, picks him up, and slams him, just overwhelming him and muscling him in that position. Or even here against Tony Ferguson, he tries to duck under the jab, eats an uppercut that intercepts him, but he still completes the takedown. So Tony has the crossface on the left side. He grabs onto the single leg, rotates and sits out to reverse the positions, getting Tony's back up against the fence. And as it seems like Tony's trying to lift that chin with his left hand, Paddy just completely muscles him, lifts him up with the single leg, and dumps him. So those are some moments where Paddy's still able to complete the takedown, even if the initial shot was obstructed, showing that his chain wrestling seems to be more capable than his initial takedown. Now, how does this work against Justin Gaethje? So firstly, he's pretty fast on his feet. It's like the first phase of takedown defense, not allowing the opponent to grab a hold of them, right? So Gaethje's speed is going to be an advantage in this, not only from his footwork, but also comparably, Paddy's not that fast with his shots. Gaethje is going to be probably the fastest guy in defending the takedown out of anybody he's fought so far. So Justin Gaethje has been taken down a total of 7 times in his career. 2 of those were his first 2 fights, Michael Johnson, Eddie Alvarez. They say Michael Chandler took him down once. I don't even know why they count that, because that was a takedown in the 3rd round where Chandler slammed him, and Gaethje rolled out of it instantly. Like, there was no control whatsoever, not even a second of control.
Man, I would have thought that he's been taken down more than that. I mean, 7 times?
Control from Chandler. So it shouldn't be counted. But it is to note that Chandler did get on the hips with the double leg successfully. But Gaethje fought that differently. He was generally less mobile against Chandler. He was standing his ground a lot more than I expect him to do against Paddy. Right? He wants Paddy to like run into his counter punches and try to get Paddy to fall into his range, which is going to require some good footwork, you know? He doesn't want to stay at the end of Paddy's punches. But we're going to talk about all 4 takedowns since COVID that Gaethje failed to defend. 2 from the Khabib fight and 2 from the Fiziev rematch. And all 4 of those takedowns had a leg kick take a part of it. Whether it was Khabib timing it as he was quickly moving to the left, grabbing onto the leg, shooting, landed on his knees, turned the angle to continue the takedown and secured it. It's still crazy Gaethje didn't defend any of those submission attempts on the ground. No resistance at all. It's insane. But the takedown landed due to the leg kick. Fiziev landed both of his takedowns by timing the leg kick as well. The second one was the inverted triangle, and that came off of the single leg, so they're counting that as well. And even Khabib's first takedown, even though it wasn't directly off the leg kick landed first. Then on his retraction, he would try to move away, and Khabib aggressively pressured him. Gaethje lost composure, crossed his feet while throwing a right hand, squaring up his hips for a perfect entry shot for Khabib. It was also a very fast shot. Like, Paddy doesn't shoot that quickly, but he can pressure, right? We have seen this before, especially when he hurts his opponents. He will pressure forward, but it goes into the whole striking aspect of the fight, and we'll get to that later. So it wasn't directly off the leg kick, but when you land a leg kick and retract it, you want to bring that into stance. And if the opponent pressures you off of it, it can throw you off balance. So it took a part in all of these takedowns, dude. Every single one. So Gaethje desperately needs to set up these leg kicks when he fights Paddy a lot better. Khabib shot a few other times in the fight, and Gaethje was defending them, dude. There was even another one from an inside leg kick, rotated them around because of how quickly he was stepping to the left when he grabbed the single leg. And Gaethje quickly turns his hips to the side, throws in the left whizzer, and pulls Khabib up. And Gaethje pushed himself out of there in very fast succession. Like, this whole exchange was quick, dude. Watch it in real time if you can. It's at like 3 minutes and 3 seconds of the first round. Or even look at Gaethje's takedown defense in the second round against Michael Chandler. It's at like 1 minute and 42 seconds where he just explosively sprawls on that thing, throws in the left underhook, and hits the duck under to get out of there. Like, another takedown when he threw a left hook and Khabib ducked under it. He tried to grab a body lock. Gaethje was quick enough to step away, throw in another left whizzer, and angled out to his right fast enough while pushing away at Khabib, breaking his control. Justin Gaethje has very fast feet, dude. Or had, maybe. I don't know if he's still this fast because that was like 5 years ago. Gaethje's still very fast with his punches. He still explodes quickly with his overhand. But we have yet to see if his takedown defense has actually slowed down. So the takedowns could be quite difficult for Paddy Pimblett to land. And if like Paddy Pimblett grabs a hold of that single, which is a takedown that he likes to go to, Gaethje will Granby roll his way out of there, completely losing the position. But Paddy could attack with a submission similar to the way Fiziev did. So Fiziev actually attacked him with an inverted triangle once his single leg failed. And this is because he never let go of the leg the entire time. Even though he was flipped over his own head, his grip never failed. Gaethje was trying to pull his way out of there, posting on the ground, and Fiziev locked up that inverted triangle in that moment. So if Paddy's grip is strong enough where he doesn't lose control of a single leg, I'm pretty sure he can land something like this too. If his shot isn't fast enough, if his footwork is not good enough to cut off Gaethje, let's say Gaethje's moving around way too quickly and he's landing certain shots and stuff like that. Let's say the fight's playing out in that way. Gaethje usually throws the leg kick, right? And he doesn't tend to set it up that well. A lot of times there's like no setup to it. He just bangs it out there. Paddy can grab a hold of it if he gets that timing down and either lands the single leg, or when Gaethje rolls, Paddy could do something like this, similar as Fiziev. And that's the thing, dude. Honestly, Paddy Pimblett has not completed many takedowns in the UFC. Only 4 total out of his like 8 fights. But we've
Okay, so only 4. He only landed 4 takedowns. Only 4. Okay.
seen him on the ground so many times, so how does it get down there? If it's not usually from the takedowns, he only gets 28% of them, why does it seem like the fight goes to the ground so often with him? Crazy enough, sometimes it's his opponent taking him down, and they overshot the back take, or he reverses them, like Jared Gordon did, and then Gordon stood up. Or here against Michael Chandler. Chandler takes him to the ground and overshoots the back take, and Paddy reverses him. This has happened too many times in Paddy's career, bro. Like, you have to question some of the fight IQ of his opponents trying to wrestle with this guy. Like, I get it with Jordan Levitt because that's the way Levitt just fights everybody. Even though he gets guillotined and then reversed to the ground off of him shooting a takedown. Like, bro, Paddy hasn't completed many takedowns for how often the fight has gone to the ground. Surely Justin Gaethje is not going to shoot takedowns. Or what about Tony throwing up a head kick? Paddy slipped it and got caught on his face, and Tony falls. Sometimes the fight goes to the ground without Paddy even shooting a takedown. Now, we know that Justin Gaethje is not going to shoot. If he shoots, he should retire. So Paddy's grappling is going to have to rely on his offensive efforts to...
That would be crazy to see him, see Gaethje go for a takedown in the middle of the fight and not at the end of the fight. If it was at the end of the fight, it would have made more sense for him to go for the takedown. You know, since he's already, you know, won the last 2 rounds, like he did in the first Rafael Fiziev fight. You know, just take him down. You know, you already won the fight. You know, just take it down, and just waste some time.
Get the fight to the ground there from takedowns or potentially dropping Gaethje in the stand-up, which can happen. Paddy's striking is offensively potent, but there are a lot of defensive holes that I think Gaethje could absolutely blast right through. And this is why I'm saying that Justin Gaethje cannot be underestimated. I don't think it's as one-sided as a lot of people think it's going to be. We have the whole thing about the staph infection and stuff, then that could definitely impact the fight. I'm still hoping that it's not staph. But even with it, man, Gaethje is not someone to underestimate. He has some technical advantages that he can work with here. But first things first, you know, we had to talk about the wrestling and stuff because I think if Paddy does get Gaethje to the ground, the fight is pretty much over. I don't think Gaethje can cover the gap leading into this fight. I think the path of least resistance is to keep the fight in the stand-up where he has most of his advantages because Paddy's defense, how do I say this nicely? It's horrid, bro. It's really bad. Like
Horrid. What an interesting word. Horrid.
He throws a body jab as if he's about to take off like a plane. Nothing guarding his head and overextended slightly. Drops hand, detaches guard, throws the right straight like a failed Superman punch, even though it wasn't a Superman punch. Rear foot off the ground, way overextending, head past his feet, dropped his hands, chin in the sky, and loses his stance. Or here, reaching left hook, dropping his guard and raising his chin. I guess if you raise your chin high enough, it becomes unreachable. Then he slaps his right straight forward instead of punching it linearly. Lifts the rear foot off the ground again, drops his hands, overextends, and loses his stance into the parallel. He steps away to regain his stance and drops his guard, getting countered by Tony as he throws his left. Tony helping Paddy to look at the ceiling, and Paddy can't see the target, slapping down with his right and drops his hands again. Or hear him throwing a bolo uppercut, swooping from under without even a feint to set it up. It's scary not to set up that punch while in the opponent's punching range. He's as open as a 24/7 CVS, bro. Uppercut falls short
Open
as
as a
Chandler retreats and he
24/7
drops his
CVS.
hands again for a hopping left hook that also misses. And he drops that hand too. Like, bro, the main thing that he relies on are his distance management skills. That's most of his defense. He's tall and long for the division, right? It says he's like, what, 5'10", 5'11", but I think he might be like an inch taller than Gaethje. Let's see if he's wearing like high heels or something. You know, some fighters have these lifts on. Okay, so those are definitely giving him like an inch over Gaethje. So they might be the same height actually, like 5'11". But he does have a 3-inch reach advantage. And that distance management is going to be the main line of defense. He probes with the lead hand constantly. In fact, he sets up a lot of his attacks off that lead probe and feint too. It's a huge part of his game. He'll throw the jab off of it. He'll throw the right hand off of it, the leg kicks. It's like the main thing he throws before he attacks, as well as defensively to keep the opponent at range. But Gaethje can counter this because Paddy drops that jabbing hand and pulls his guarding hand away from his own face. Lacking defense all over the place, dude. That is if you can avoid it, though, because it is quite fast and he has pretty good extension. It's a snappy jab, but he drops that right hand and then he drops his jabbing hand too, both hands at his waist. Avoiding that shot is a clear opening for a counter. Gaethje can blast him to the chin with the right overhand, getting his head off the center line, and then follow up with the left hook. That combination that he was throwing at Tony Ferguson constantly, and also Jared Gordon was throwing at Paddy Pimblett, inside slip on the jab, and countering with the right hook to the body instead of an overhand. There he follows up with the left hook. It lands because Paddy detached that right guard. Look how that hand is pulled away from guarding his head. And Gaethje has shown some nice inside slips on jabs before and counters, although Paddy will be further away than Chandler was here. So the range needs to be adjusted. There are a lot of counter opportunities for Justin Gaethje. I mean, look at here as well. Paddy moving forward with a combination, throwing an uppercut, left hook, both hands drop at his waist after he throws each punch. Not just at the end of the combo, but for each punch, his hands fall to his waist. And his chin up is in the air. He's very tall, like he's such a vulnerable target for an overhand. And his chin up is in the air.
Yeah, chin up way up in the air like you just don't care.
He's very tall, like he's such a vulnerable target for an overhand or a reaching left hook. Paddy says the Scousers can't be knocked out. Well, get hit too many times against Gaethje and that can very quickly change. Paddy is durable, man. Paddy's very tough, but I don't think he could take too many punches like that from Justin Gaethje. But there is that one tricky technique from Paddy that Gaethje is going to have to solve, and that is the lead hand probe. Paddy uses that technique so often, and Gaethje needs to ignore it. Just ignore the feint or use it as a signal for his attacks. I think in the beginning is going to play a big part in Paddy landing punches before Gaethje's given enough time to adjust to it. Right? There's a difference between preparing in training camp versus experiencing it in an actual fight. So however time it takes for Gaethje to adapt to it, Paddy can be tricky enough to land a jab or a right hook or something like that. Maybe even conditioning Gaethje's reactions of ducking and dipping with those lead hand probes. But I think eventually Gaethje is going to adjust to it. Just like he's shown in other fights the ability to adapt, like finding the uppercuts against Fiziev. Gaethje can be pretty good at adjusting in the striking against his opponent. Paddy constantly tries to divert his opponent with that lead hand probe, and I think Gaethje needs to be less respectful of it. He cannot freeze at the end of that because he'll just be in the line of sight of those shots. Keep the right hand ready to parry at all times, so the jab isn't going to be necessarily too much of an issue as long as he can just time the parry correctly. By parrying it, there will always be openings for him to land his own counter jab. He's very fast with his jab, and Paddy detaching his guard away from his head could cause a clear path to Paddy's chin. Paddy's hand isn't in position to parry a counter jab, so a simple slip or parry from Gaethje and then a counter jab would work beautifully for him. Very simple tactic. Right, the difference between him and Gaethje will keep that other hand up guarding himself. More often, there have been moments where he also detached his guard when he was reaching forward from longer distance against the shorter Fiziev, as an example. But Gaethje is more disciplined in keeping his right guard up and should be focused on that for this fight. Don't make the same mistakes as Paddy Pimblett throwing the jab, dude. And Gaethje, even with his jabs, he does drop them. So there is the opening there as well from him. You saw this constantly throughout the Tony Ferguson fight. It's very fast, but he does drop it as well. So Paddy could also land some counter shots. Gaethje's going to have to bring that jab back to stance, dude. He needs to defend himself after he throws it. But the one difference is, Paddy I don't think is as good of a counter puncher. I don't think his style usually revolves around counter punching as much as Gaethje's does. Right? Gaethje has won so many exchanges off of counter punching, whereas Paddy usually wins off of his aggression. Like there are some moments like him landing a flying knee on Michael Chandler, but usually it's more from his aggression. Justin Gaethje was destroying Tony Ferguson by counterpunching him. He dropped Rafael Fiziev with a counterpunch, and he's landed so many big shots like this, hurting his opponents. And this counter style should take precedent against Paddy. Let Paddy extend himself to run into these counters, recognize the lead hand probe and feint, and punish the long jab. Paddy is a big kicker, but he doesn't set them up that well. He uses the same feint for that too sometimes. But not only that, I think Gaethje has the faster hand speed. I think he's much quicker on the trigger. He's landed some big shots in the open. I mean, a lot of his punches that he has landed were just in the open, like without much of a setup. He just explodes as quickly as possible. He's a very athletic guy. I mean, he landed a right overhand on Rafael Fiziev merely from sheer explosiveness. And Fiziev is incredibly quick. He did this both to Tony and Fiziev, landing the shot, with there being a 5-year gap in between those fights, and he's still fast enough to land that shot like that, right? This illustrates Gaethje's just impressive general speed. But speed is very different than length, right? Fiziev is small, he's short. Gaethje has a much longer distance to cover when he's fighting Paddy, right? So I think he's going to have that hand speed advantage, quickly getting in there, potentially landing some shots. But again, the only issue is going to be that length, right? By the time he measures the distance accurately, I think that's when he's going to probably get ahead. If Gaethje conquers the long range by parrying the jabs, checking or evading the leg kicks, and adjusting and recognizing the probes, Paddy's going to have to get this fight to the ground, or it's going to get really ugly for him in the stand-up. Paddy will blitz to find some power shots, and he has respectable power, but the form is just not all there. The defenselessness is very consistent when Paddy's blitzing forward or just throwing some big shot aggressively. He doesn't tuck his chin when he throws, and he drops his hands. So if Gaethje could just merely defend, evade those shots, the counters are there for him. I mean, look at the form, dude. Paddy is bringing his rear foot off of the ground. Chin is forward. His head is leaned further than his feet. His hands are dropped. Like, this is just his chin on a platter for Gaethje to counter with a simple backstep. So even the backstep
Yep, that's where Gaethje can land the big shot.
counters
Yeah,
are
it's
there
obvious.
for Gaethje. But the kicks is something that we have to talk about because both guys have pretty good kicks, man. But I think the one who's stepping into them while checking and then countering with an overhand is going to be the one that's winning those exchanges, right? That is something that Tony did against Paddy. He stepped into the leg kick, the step acting as a natural check, and then counters over the top with an overhand. And I think both fighters can do this against each other. They aren't consistent with setting up their leg kicks, though. A few times they will throw a feint first, but many, many times they're just banging out those leg kicks with no setups. But they need to be defended regardless, dude. Both guys need to check them or simply lift their lead leg above and cause a big follow-through. This is what Chandler did to Paddy Pimblett, actually. just lifted his leg above it, and look at the imbalance because the kick missed. So both can do this obviously, but this video is for Gaethje. So that is something that he definitely needs to do. Defending the leg kicks is a must. Another thing that Gaethje has to watch out for is getting conditioned from the body kicks. If Paddy's throwing a lot of body kicks, maybe even switching to southpaw, which he can do. He has thrown left kicks from that stance with pretty good form too. Just like Fiziev did, he could condition Gaethje for the head kick. I mean, look at this, dude. Shin goes right above Gaethje's head. As he leans into it, dude, Paddy could condition these attacks as well, causing a lean into the head kick just like that. And it might be easier to condition than just off the body kick because Justin Gaethje likes to duck his head into collisions. Now, I don't know if he should be doing this against Paddy Pimblett because it does put him in a position to potentially get clinched up, taken to the ground or something. Paddy could try to submit him even from the stand up. Like, there's many things that he can do there if Gaethje ducks into a potential clinch. But he can also land certain powerful shots in the disengagement as well. You saw that a lot against Rafael Fiziev. He ducks his head into the opponent throwing shots, or he clinches up with them and then lands a disengaging shot. So that can neutralize some of the initial aggression from Paddy. It could also make the takedowns more difficult to land because he's meeting the level change sometimes. He doesn't really squat down though the way Michael Chandler did here. So as you can see here, Chandler ducks his head as well, but he squats and he's also shorter. So there's more work to get under on those hips. When Justin Gaethje ducks, he doesn't always squat like this. Sometimes he just leans forward. So the takedowns can be countered by this duck and some of the aggression, but the flying knee can be extremely dangerous, dude. Paddy Pimblett throws stuff like flying knees in. If Gaethje ducks into one of those, the fight can end very quickly. So that, as well as Paddy's uppercut, could be a very good interception while Gaethje ducks like that. But if those techniques miss, Paddy's going to put himself into the fire to get countered by Gaethje because Gaethje's very quick to retaliate with his power punches from those type of exchanges, especially when it's in the clinch. So if, Paddy throws a flying knee, it doesn't land, and then he ends up in the clinch with Gaethje because of the collision, Gaethje is going to disengage with punches. That is something he did so often against Fiziev. Not just disengaging and allowing the opponent to get away. He made sure to get a shot in there before he exits. And those type of shots can be very powerful because it's not only an overhand. It's not only an uppercut. It can also be a head kick from the clinch, bro. Gaethje has one of the sneakiest head kicks in the game. He'll throw it from the clinch. He'll throw it in retaliation when the opponent throws one at him. And he's very fast with them too. Even the Muay Thai specialist, Rafael Fiziev, didn't react well to them. If someone like him was not able to recognize the head kick in those moments, I find it very hard to believe that Paddy Pimblett will. And of course, we don't have to mention that he knocked out Dustin with this too. So it is not only Paddy Pimblett who's going to be throwing head kicks. Gaethje doesn't throw them quite often, but he throws them in moments that you least expect it. Very sneaky head kicks from Gaethje, dude. And if Paddy's dropping his hands, disengaging from the clinch, that head kick could follow up and crack him right across the head and KO him. So that is pretty much the breakdown of the Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett fight. This is not a prediction, this is not to say that Gaethje's gonna win. I think though this fight will be much more competitive than a lot of people are expecting. And I think Gaethje's chances are being overlooked here, and it's understandable because Paddy does have a huge advantage on the ground, but it doesn't mean that the fight is gonna go there. Gaethje has a realistic game plan that he can develop to win this fight. He has the skills, he has the technique, he has the athletic attributes.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff, I kind of knew this already, I do believe if Justin Gaethje can keep this fight, if he could keep this fight standing, then he will definitely have a chance because if you've seen Paddy Pimblett's fights lately, like the Weasel said in this video, his striking defense isn't the best. He can, Paddy, he can get hit. Like, he gets hit. Like, with some big shots. He relies on his chin and like the Weasel said, his distant management. But, we'll see what happens in the fight. But I still think Paddy will win, but it's going to be a little closer than people think. All right. See what's next. Well, actually, I'll take a piss. I need to take a piss, so I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. All right, so apparently, Pretty Boy Fredo, he's back. He's returned to streaming this time. Excuse me. Why the internet loves Pretty Boy Fredo again? Let's check it out.
Being the most loved content creator within an entire community, gaining millions of fans, becoming a cultural influence, and completely revolutionizing the space as we know it, that sounds like a career almost any content creator would dream of. And for Pretty Boy Fredo, this was the life he was living. But unfortunately, as time went on, all of that started to change. All of that love he was once receiving started turning into hate, the fans started turning into haters. He's found himself within beefs with some of the biggest content creators in the world. He fell out with all of his friends. He started having family issues. Everything really just started crashing down within Fredo's life. But it's seeming like this story is going to have a very happy ending, because after taking breaks from the internet over the past few years, it seems like Fredo is finally back and things are looking to go well for him. You see, with the new year coming in, this is the perfect time for people to lock in on their goals and hold themselves accountable for things they really want to accomplish. And for Fredo, this goal that he wanted to lock in on was returning to the internet and once again being consistent online, even if it meant going through all of the hurdles and trolling that he might endure, because at the end of the day, Fredo's fall from grace didn't just necessarily happen. You see, if you kept up with Fredo throughout the course of his career, you know that he's always been a creator that really stayed to himself. Everything he accomplished, he managed to get on his own. It was usually just him, his close friends, and his family. He was never the type of creator that
Man, I remember seeing that video when he hit 1 million subscribers.
try to go out and collab with any of the biggest YouTubers or streamers or whoever was popping at the time. That was never the thing Fredo did. And with him managing to see all of this success on his own and knowing he didn't really need anybody, that all led to him starting to develop a bit of an ego. And that ego ended up becoming one of the worst things that could have possibly happened to Fredo's career, because that led to him getting into years worth of drama and beef with some of the biggest.
Yeah, I remember that beef. Him and Agent beef. I forgot when did they start beefing? Oh, and what was it over? I forgot.
Names you could think of like Agent 00, Casanat, DDG, and many others as well. Now obviously these are some of the more prominent figures within the community, especially within the black community.
And of course he had beef with DDG. Like, DDG just beefs with everybody at this point.
Which at the time was a lot smaller on platforms like YouTube and Twitch. So of course beefing with these huge creators wouldn't end well for anyone, especially Fredo, because after each and every problem he had with these creators, over the years he just became easier and easier to hate. It got to a point where even his own personal friends started coming out and giving the internet more reasons to dislike Fredo. They started telling all of his business, saying that he faked his videos, talking about how poorly he treated people. Many of them even alleged why the reason why the whole SSH group broke up was because Fredo tried to take percentages of their YouTube channels, and that alone is what led to everyone cutting ties with them.
Everybody is finally starting to see this man for what he truly is. It's a fraud, a liar, a scammer, a manipulator, and all in all, just a terrible person, you know what I'm saying? You're a horrible person. I'm not even joking, you're a horrible. I'm not even gonna touch on the subject of the fake videos. We all know the videos are fake, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even here to say that. I just came here to just prove that this man is a scammer. Like,
I mean, it literally got to a point where there was basically a new reason to dislike Fredo every day. And for those of you that don't know, when there's a hate train being formed against you online, it's almost impossible to get out of that slump, especially if you're reacting to all of it in a very negative way, trying to fight fire with fire. It basically almost never works, and that's exactly what Fredo was doing. Whenever someone came out and said something about him, he would come out and drop a diss track, say something back, go on Instagram live and troll. And while all of that was extremely entertaining, all it really did was give people more and more reasons to dislike him and form more negative opinions about him.
I don't have to deal with these 2K nerds and lame. I left y'all corny in like 2017, and y'all niggas is still on my... Yo, imagine leaving a community for like 3 years, and these still, so I had that big of an impact. Y'all still don't have to sit on y'all throne as the king. All right, I will come back. 2K21, I will come back. I will be the king again. And you is going back to 9 and 5s again.
It seems like whenever you're in all of this drama and getting all of this hate online, the best thing to do is just to simply not say a word, don't respond, literally just disconnect from the internet for a while, live your life, get through whatever it is that you're personally going through, and when you're finally ready to make that return back to the internet, you just gotta randomly come back and hope that the narrative around your name is different. We've seen this method work with other streamers before, like Bruce Drop 'Em Off. He was one of the most hated people on the internet at one point, and he ended up taking a very long break as well, and when he came back, everyone loved him. So now it seems like this is exactly what Fredo is doing. You see, we're in an era where all of the OG YouTubers and content creators are making successful returns to the internet. Most of them do extremely well because not only are their old fan bases still around, there's also just generally way more people consuming content on social media now with all of the clips and things like that. So when you have a group of people that's already been missing the content you create for years, and another group of people who have never seen your content before in their life, but they're seeing these clips get millions and hundreds of thousands of views, when you really look at all of that, you'll realize why it's not really too hard for these people to make returns back to the internet. And this is exactly how I went for Fredo.
Hey, it took me a lot to hit that motherfucking live button. Like, I don't think y'all understand how much it took for me to hit that live button. You know what I'm saying? For me to like really just
Oh man, he getting emotional.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just grateful, bro. I'm just grateful for y'all. Damn, that shit be real. Like, the love y'all niggas show just be real as fuck. It ain't nothing like this shit, bro, for real. I'm just thankful. Oh man, boy, I can't, bro. Let me.
You see, Pretty Boy Fredo returned to live streaming on December 27th, 2025. It was really a super shocking notification, I'm not gonna lie, but during his first stream back, it was pretty calm. He was just connecting with the chat, talking about the things he's been doing in his life. He talked about his plans for the year, specifically some of the things he had planned with content creation. And with this, he also shared his opinions on the current state of the internet as well.
We did this shit with no celebrities.
Don't forget, like when you mention Pretty Boy Fredo and you mention SSH, just remember, it was just me and niggas that I fucked with. That's it. It wasn't YouTubers. It wasn't fucking celebrities. It wasn't rappers. I never. And mind you, the niggas that was in SSH were niggas from my community. It was niggas that were typing in the chat. If niggas can't say I'm the realest, like one of the realest niggas ever for that, then I don't know what to say. I didn't take...
Yeah, I mean, that is true. I don't think he's ever collabed with a celebrity in his YouTube videos. I don't think he's ever done that.
Wannabe streamers or people who already had platforms. No, these were regular, everyday niggas that turned that bitch up and got this shit lit as fuck. Like, if you can't respect that, I don't know what to say. Like, yeah, I didn't have fucking Kevin Hart and The Rock, but that just wasn't my swag.
Now, the one thing that nobody can deny when it comes to Fredo is the fact that he never needed anyone. As I said, he managed to get all of this success through just using his friends and his family in his content. He never needed any big collabs for views or anything like that. That's literally what he prided himself on for years, and with that came a lot of beef, which Fredo addressed a couple times in his first few streams back.
Somebody was like, why are you beefing with the #1 streamer in the world? And I'm thinking to myself,
Let's go.
I'm thinking to myself, damn, why am I beefing with the #1 nigga in the world?
Bro, like, you don't gotta like niggas, but you don't gotta beef with it. You can keep it cordial.
Yeah. And you know that it ain't no beef.
Yeah, it really,
you know
it
what's
really
crazy?
ain't even no real beef.
For real, because
But
you
the
know
way
I'm
it's
not
coming
no,
off though, like from
it
the,
does.
from
It
the
come off,
music.
it comes off as so hateful.
Yeah.
But I'm not even.
But that's
like
just
that.
how you are. Like your music, your shit like that is very passionate. So
Yeah,
like,
nah,
niggas
that's
not
true.
gonna, you know what I'm saying?
I remember when Kai Cenat dropped the diss track on me.
Yeah.
I was off YouTube for a little bit. I'm chilling, you know what I'm saying? I'm living my life, nigga. All of a sudden, niggas is smoking on Fredo.
Nigga Demon woke up. Nigga say,
Mind you, I wasn't even on the internet. Like I wasn't posting because I was doing a reality
How you doing, Andrew? I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
show.
yeah, I remember.
Bro, I'm sitting there playing the game. All of a sudden, smoking on Fredo. I'm like, nigga, what?
Now, honestly, I think this return has been the smartest approach to Fredo's career in a very long time, because even with the things he's talking about or touching up on, he's not talking about any of these beefs or drama in a negative way. He's not trying to start any problems with anyone. He's simply just addressing these things one by one in a more level-headed manner, which is something that we really haven't seen from Fredo in years past. Over the past few streams, he's also done some collabs with former SSH members like Malik, the kid who started off as a fan who randomly met him one day in a shoe store, and over the years he ended up turning into more of this little brother. And with them not really speaking much over the past few years, when they returned with this stream, it was definitely great content because they just sat down and reminisced about old times, caught up on life, and they even spoke on some of the drama and problems that went on amongst the group, even debunking some of the claims that Fredo tried to take money from his friends.
Actual group channel. We're discussing percentages and stuff, and that's like when we were like falling out about like money, but we never fell out about niggas getting money or this and that. Like nobody ever fell out about actual like bags that weren't being given to people.
Because we
like, that's
all
not
eating.
Yeah, but we was all eating. Everybody had their own shit.
Yeah, hell
and
yeah.
still have their own shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You know,
it's just about what you gonna do with your own shit, nigga.
For real. And I like, you know what's crazy? It's like I started SSH with like...
Next, Fredo went on to do a stream with his longtime girlfriend Jasmine. She's been heavily included within all of his content over the past years. Some of the biggest videos on his channel include...
Wait, did he marry her already? Did he marry her?
His girlfriend Jasmine. A lot of them are like pranks and things like that were popular at the time, but this was also just another great stream. It was great seeing them back together happy and things like that, because they did hit a rough patch in their relationship like most people do. It's normal things, but fortunately they did manage to get through all of these problems, and Fredo would be sure to give her props for always sticking by his side over the years.
I wanted to introduce my beautiful woman to the stream. This is the woman that literally like got a nigga on his toes right now. Like y'all see me I'm at a really good spot, and it's because of this woman, bro. Like if I didn't have her in my life, dog, y'all see me without her, I crash and burn every single time, nigga. Like if I ain't got my baby with me, I'm crashing and burning every single time. So, you know, I'm truly grateful to
Ooh, I like this now. Keep talking.
Yeah, I gotta say that. I gotta say it because it's real. You know what I'm saying? But y'all know. But yeah.
Now, to add on to all of the nostalgic streams, of course I can't end this video without mentioning Pretty Boy Fredo returning back to playing 2K, which is the game that literally kickstarted his entire career. Granted, the game is much different now and much worse, but it was still great to see him return to say some of his popular catchphrases and sayings and things like that. And he also mixed a little IRL basketball into these streams as well, which was another heavy part of his YouTube content originally. So of course, this was something that all of the OG fans definitely loved.
Wow, man.
Now, with all of the nostalgia and good vibes from these streams, it's pretty easy to see why the internet is beginning to love Fredo once again, and as long as he stays focused and stays out of unnecessary drama, I think it's pretty fair to say that Fredo will definitely have a great return back to social media. But that's just my personal opinion. As you guys know, the only opinion that matters to me is y'all's opinion. And with that being said, be sure to comment down below and let me know, what do you think about this entire situation? How do you feel about Fredo returning? Were you a fan of Fredo's content? How do you feel about all of the drama he's been in over the years? Just be sure to let me know something down below. And while you're at it, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join me on my journey to 25,000 subscribers. And with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, be sure to give me a thumbs down. You guys know any...
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool to see him return. Pretty cool.
Justin Gaethje versus.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. My bad. Okay, it's 9:43. All right. I don't have a lot of time to... I do want to play some games. I'm not gonna lie, I do. You know what? I'll play like 15 minutes of Dispatch. How about that? Or just like a different game. Either Dispatch or college football. May not have a lot of time, but why not?
Hey, Mom. Hey, honey.
All right, is he I'm pretty sure he's getting ready to clock out. What's he still doing there?
those. They make fun of my issue, my stutter.
Here. Hold the beef. It'll help. I don't think it's a stutter.
What? Can you not? It's happening right currently. This very right now. You can't? I'm concerned. I'm worried.
Believe in
What
yourself.
you need is to believe in yourself.
Yeah, have
I
confidence.
don't think you have a stutter. I think you have a confidence issue. You're worried you're gonna say
Kinda
the
said
wrong
that.
thing, so you won't finish the sentence. I'm blowing your mind. What are you afraid of with the CT?
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too.
Seriously, what's the worst that could happen?
I don't know, they call me useless. They call me, I don't know, they think I suck.
See? They say that all the time. You worrying about it didn't stop a thing. So fuck them. Fuck me, fuck everybody. From now on, stop caring what anyone else thinks. Smells very chemically in here.
Oh, what's going on?
What you watching? Technically, you're still on the clock. Didn't peg you as a rom-com fan.
If I'm on the clock, you shouldn't be pegging me with anything, Robert. That's extremely inappropriate. Especially since I'm usually the picker, not the peggy.
Noted. Well, tell me how it is. I wanted to see that one.
At least 20 minutes of trailers. I always forget what I'm watching by the time the movie starts.
Same. You going solo?
I'm a loner, Robbie. A rebel. That and I feel bad asking people to pay when I'm just gonna sneak in. The only lame thing is I can't get snacks.
Floating buckets of popcorn do tend to draw a lot of attention.
Ah, but I miss it. I miss popcorn.
Up late for dinner. Ooh. Nah, we going Blazer.
See you tomorrow. No spoilers.
Yep. Have...
Too much coffee?
Wait,
Sure. What's up?
this isn't what I look like.
I don't totally know what you mean, but okay.
The powers make me. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna show you. Are you good with that?
I have absolutely no idea what's about to happen, so this is very exciting.
Temper your expectations.
What? She turned brunette?
I'm sorry.
You're disappointed.
Are you kidding? I can't tell if are you joking or am I joking?
It's a big difference.
You're what? What? 2 inches shorter?
And a brunette. Come on, it's. Okay, maybe if I wasn't called Blonde Blazer, I wouldn't be so self-conscious about it. People have expectations, and they never meet me first. It's always the superhero. It's hard to live up to.
Why do you care what I think?
Because I like you. And I think you like me.
I just wanted to hear you say it.
Hey, I'm Mandy.
Mandy.
Robert. It's really nice to meet you, Mandy.
Likewise. But would you like to have dinner with me, Robert?
I would love that. Whoa. You fancy.
Well, it's all Michelin
Spaghetti
stars when you're on a date
and some
with me.
wine.
Oh, so this is a date.
If you think it is, it is.
Did you know that the Michelin star ratings were created by the tire company? They gave high ratings to restaurants away from the cities to get people to drive more and buy new tires.
I'm both in shock and really unsure what to do with this information.
I felt the same.
Waterboy, you don't have to do that anymore.
He's allowed to go home, right?
Yes, I'm not running a sweatshop. Hey, Waterboy, go home. What does he think that I could possibly be saying that would make him keep going? You sure you don't miss the blonde?
Look, I actually prefer brunettes, so this is great.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah, I actually came here tonight to ask you to dye your hair.
Oh, wow. What a coincidence.
I know. It's crazy.
All right, man, we finished the episode. All right, this probably going to play the next episode for like 6 minutes.
That's everybody. All clear. Mecha Man, it's not worth it!
Workout in.
Damage is done. All I want is a conversation. No need to do any more.
Can't lift it.
You need some help? You're not supposed to lift without a spot. Idiot. So weak. So weak.
Now I'm getting a safety lecture from a walking fireball.
It's a reality check. Normies need babysitters, so you don't hurt yourself thinking you're a hero. Man, I am so fucking strong. It's crazy.
Thank you for being my babysitter. I will be more careful next time.
Fuck off. Wait, that was genuine? No more hero stuff without supervision. You can't get injured, because we need you behind that desk to help the real heroes.
Said the real
Actually,
heroes.
speaking of injuries, remind me, who took your tooth? It's like they only stole that little bit.
I got into a fight with an actual hero. And I assure you, he's regretting his decision to tangle with me.
I imagine he's regretting a lot of his decisions.
That's fucking right. And you, it's time for you to accept that you don't got it anymore. And pretending you still do is bombing people the fuck out. Now, get your flat ass off my bench.
You decent?
Yeah.
She went back
Are
blonde?
you alright? Flambe said you almost died under some weights.
Something like that. What's up?
I just had a great time the other night and wanted to see if maybe you want to do a real date sometime?
Was it the plastic utensils or the man puking water on the windows that made that less real?
There were many contributing factors.
Would that be a date with Blonde Blazer or Mandy?
Oh, I don't know. Which would you prefer? And that's not a trap. I'm both of them. That sounded weird out loud, but you know what I mean.
Why not?
Yeah,
Let's pump
listen,
the brakes.
we work together. Let's put a pin in this.
Okay. Have a good shift. What the fuck?
Oh, why did I say that? I should have just picked Blonde Blazer.
Yo, you ever notice the Torrance vibe is like rancid? Between the dead fish and the harbor.
Alright. Fortunately, I gotta go ahead and end it. Alright. Thank you to everyone who tapped in, and hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.